Dearly yours. If this is the place where the world tippy tilts o'er the edge into the void, into the place where all of our hard work has amounted to nothing, I have scraps of dying birds that want to be better birds, and those birds, with my alchemical savvy, all that I have, will see the sun before melting, done, and I'll grin, helpless. You'll see me put my knowledge on paper like bandages, savor the salve that makes the burns a bit more bearable, wearable, and I'll write down my heart and soul onto the papers like birds of a feather, and when it's all brought together I may see the other side, where the grass is green and the sun is warm rather than heinous to live with, and perhaps I won't dream of failing evermore, but if I should fail, if you should see me curl into a world that states that all my ways are child games, and that I am meant to die this day, this very way that I neglected the knowledge to live peacefully, live even with an ounce of dignity, and to die trying to find that little key that leads to a world that only lives in the pits of my misery, where I say to myself that there's a brighter day to keep my heart from fading away? If all that I worked for, all that I hoped for, is all but ashes, those who love me will still have the stories, all my heart and soul put into this one thing, they're yours to keep. The bloodied ink. The gods in my head stood quickly, torn to my stomach, my throat. I apologized for what I've wrote, but they keep cutting, teasing me. The sound of the bells hitting the concrete, the old man stooping to bless my feet. I didn't ask for this. Leave me, leave me. I know the sounds of a breaking world. I sailed at the bottom of the restless mistakes, breathing out the last breaths I dared to make. I won't live too much longer for your sake. Just give me an excuse to polish your ring once more. I slashed my pen against the paper in mindless scores. We sung our hearts out but merely whistled. Your words tingled around me, sharply bristled. Don't tell me that I've already reached the edge. I know when I woke up this morning I went a wretch. The void dragged out in front of me, my silhouette. Wrap your arms around my battled, worn back, and I'll listen to your heart in your wounded chest. Teach me to remember so I'll dare to forget. Train me to wield the sword that stills my breath. Hold high, heavy hope. I climbed to the highest hill, expecting to find myself pulled down by rubble, but found the stars were shining brighter, so I settled under the light, expecting silence, but the sound of voices raised in harmony were staying, so I reached up with my brush and painted a myriad of glimmering patterns, the paint dripping onto my black fur to make more stars that I carry pridefully, lovingly. And when the heat of the fire dies off, let my fur be the warmth that keeps, let my heart be the drums that beat, because it learned to beat to the High King's beat, and to follow his feet, and I felt so incredibly bold, but sometimes that loneliness would feel so cold, that I would tell my story desolately. I've known the fire all my life, lighting up in anger and pain and guilt at being alive, but now the fire has a purpose, and it's staying, and it's pertinent to know that it's now of love and faith and trust. Passionately I ask you know that you've always been enough, but know that my fur is thick, so even when the candles fail to stay lit, I will be there to guide you back to it, humbly, solemnly, wishing for it to be so.